Yeah, hi hello everyone. Welcome to Java full stack development session. So before I talk about these words like Java and all, so let me give you some brief about full stack development. Some of you might have already have idea, but for the people who do not have the idea, so I'm going to talk about what is full stack development. So okay, before that, few of you already know about me, and so my name is Keshav. I have been working as a full stack developer and as well as full stack trainer. I'm into both Node.js technology and also Java technology for few years, and that is to the backend side. Coming to the front end, I'm into React.js and Angular. I'm good at both frameworks, and apart from that, the web technologies like HTML, CSS, and also I'm good at JavaScript. That's it. That's a brief about me. Okay, we will jump into that concept like Java full stack development. Okay, Java or whatever full stack development. See, it's all about web application development. So when we are talking about the web application, generally we call them as web-based application, or in simple words, we say it as web application. So, when you are working on a daily basis, we'll be working with different software applications. In that, we have something like a desktop or standalone applications. Examples are like some media players and something like MS Word. So all these are the applications, Notepad which I'm using right now. So these are the applications which are like standalone applications. This is one category of applications, and the second category is like this one, web-based applications. In that also the examples like we have Gmail application and IRCTC application, Book My Show, Amazon. So these are the examples for web-based applications. If whoever wants to create these applications, like standalone applications, what we need to do here is we have to learn one programming language properly, a general purpose programming language like Java or C, even C++, anything. You should learn it properly, and then we need to create programs. The meaning of program, right? So we're using any programming language, we create certain tasks. They are like programs, and all programs together will create a software application, or we can say software application. Actually, software is a general word which we generally use for software application. So that software application is a combination of programs, and those programs are usually written with the help of the programming languages. Like here you can write it through Java or something like C++ or even C language usually, but nowadays people are having more languages. So that's it. And from the user perspective, it's about like a designer or programmer perspective. But when it comes to user perspective, here we need to install them in the computer. We have to install it once and run a number of times. So you can run anytime you want. You can able to run them. And for all these things to happen, you need one system. Inside that, all these things will be happening. Only one system is required. So that is what standalone applications are about. So the examples are this. Some games as well. The examples for standalone applications. So that will be there. But our journey of full stack development completely be associated with the process like web-based applications. So these are the examples. Some examples for the web-based applications. So when you talk about full stack here, it is a process of creating or developing web applications. So end-to-end web application development. It's nothing but full stack development. So what actually it will be containing? So it will be containing two parts actually. We call them backend and as well as front end. So let's say example, what does it mean by front end and what does it mean by backend here? See, whenever you open any web application, you take any example like Amazon, anything like Facebook or Gmail, whatever it is. The moment any user opens anything, at that time what we can see some websites, right? Some web pages inside that website. What might be the web page? It will contain different kind of data which we can able to see. That everything together is called front end. And in that what we do, let's say example of Amazon. You have not used Amazon so far, you wanted to use Amazon from now onwards. What you do there, you'll be going to sign up option over there, and you'll be entering your details, basic details, and you'll be clicking the button like register. Then what happens, your registration will be successfully completed, right? But that button of register or those filling fields, everything is like front end. But actually the moment you click that button called register, then what is happening is really your registration will be happening. That is the reason next time, that is tomorrow or whenever you are using that application Amazon, you no need to register again. Then what you do, you'll go with another page, this time called sign in page, or we say it like a login page. In that, we provide the credentials, username and password, whatever we already created with the registration process, the same we use. Then we try to log in into our Amazon account, and if you do, correct, if you enter the correct username and password, then it will take you to the Amazon homepage, your dashboard page. And if you enter wrong username or password combination, then it will ask you to stay in the same page with some error message. You know this, right? So what I want to say here is that beautiful pictures and those forms and everything is like front end. But the moment you click that button, something is happening, right? Taking your data and storing into the server, or checking your credentials, whether you are entering the right username or not, a right username password combination or not, where actually your username and password is stored, that is at server side. So all these things or logical things are happening at the back end. So mostly the front end, we can say like it is about just that website. What are the website we observe, or the web pages we have, that is called your front end. And the back end, in the back end mainly it is about application logic will be there, the main logic will be there. That's why we call backend as something application layer, or we say this as business layer. And whereas this one, whatever the website we have or whatever the web pages we have, and we call them as presentation layer. The second one is called like, business layer, or we say it as application layer. Why? Because the main business is happening here only. If you take the same example like Amazon, uh, people will use it, and people will open the site, and people will visit it, and people will see different products and all. But the main logic, like main application or main business is happening where in the back end. Why? Because the moment it registers, so the moment you click the button like add to cart, and the moment you make a payment, like proceed, something like buy now will be there, right? So that is what. Yeah. So with the moment when you click the button like add to cart, next is like after, in that you'll be clicking cart, in that you'll be having two three items. Then you'll be clicking something like buy now. Next it will take you to something like place order. Then there select the address. Then place order. Then it will take you to the payment page. Then make the payment. That's it. These are the main logics. The main business will happen through like this process only. That's why we call it as a business layer. And in most of the cases, usually what will happen, your data will get stored in the database. DB is like database, because it's like a permanent storage. You created your account in Amazon, assume. Then next time also you can able to open your account, right? That means you, were data of like profile and all, everything is already stored, that to permanent. Not only that, even if you place some order today, then after 4 days you can able to open your account, and then you can able to see my orders, something like that. There in that you can able to see all the orders you already made through that particular account. You can able to see the list of orders over there, right? Means your orders, whatever the transactions you made will be saved permanently. That's why we call this something like DB, as something like persistence layer, or people say something like data layer. In most of the cases, people say this backend, like the middle one is like server programming, and this one presentation this side is there. No, this is called UI development programming, and this middle one is known as server programming, server side programming, or server side development, whatever we can say that. And this last one is like just database. But in most of the scenarios, backend is nothing but it's a combination of server side development plus database. But some people say backend, this programming separately backend, and this one has something database separately they term. But actually it is like backend means your server side programming, that is application or business layer, whatever the code you write, that one plus along with the database related things. The moment you open any application, what we see is like web pages, that only we can able to see, or subsequently we can see the website, that all web pages together is nothing but a website. So these things only we can able to see. Exactly what will happen, with that, like the moment you click the button, what logic will execute, what program logic means different programs, right? So what programs or what functions or what functionalities we say, like inside this we'll be having multiple modules, like registration module, uh, login module, what I say, search module. We say like functions or modules, functionalities will be there. Or simple words, we can say like program. So all these things cannot be seen by the normal user. Understood? I repeat. If you open any application, what you can see website, or subsequently you can see web pages, but you cannot see what module will execute behind that, what function will execute, what programs are getting executed. We cannot see, and at the same time, what database is actually used for that particular application also cannot be seen by the user. That's the reason the server side development and that database, both the things together, people say backend development, because we cannot see that. That's why we call it as backend development here, which we can see this presentation side, right? Presentation layer, that web page website we can able to see. That's why we call it as front end development. And the other side is called what? Backend development. So in front end development, uh, the main purpose is to create a website. We need to create the website over there. So for creating the website, people will use different web technologies will be there. We'll be using them, and they are the basic web technologies are like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. All three are must. You don't have any escape from this. We must and should learn all these three, because the usage or the purpose of, or the duty of each of these technologies is different. Where HTML is something which is actually responsible for adding or creating some structure for your web page. So that is like it will create a structure. How it will be creating is something like by adding some content to your page. That is what duty of the HTML. Coming to the CSS, here uh, it is going to add some styles to your web page. So by adding them, it is responsible for the better look, that is called what appearance of your page. Coming to the JS, yes, actually it is JavaScript. People short form is like JS. And using this, what happens is it will add some dynamic nature to the web pages. Whatever the pages you create for them, it will add the dynamic nature, and it is more mainly responsible for the behavior of the page. Dynamic means that if user clicks some button, then something should happen when it is running. When the website is in running mode, at that time, the moment user clicks, something should happen. that things actually we cannot achieve through normal HTML and CSS. For that, we need to take the help of JavaScript. So JavaScript is like, again, here it's a programming language, and in this you'll be having different programming language concepts like variables, data types, and conditions, and then we have something like loops, arrays. So different programming concepts. All the programming concepts. What I say, like which you generally observe in C language or Java language, or what I say, Python. So all these things will be, again, will be there in this what is, like, JavaScript. So the only difference here is we'll be using these concepts for the purpose of adding some dynamic nature to your web pages. Whereas those languages and C or whatever it is, we'll be using only to create some functionalities or some modules to develop some programs. That's it. But here also the programs, but the main purpose is to add some dynamic nature to your web pages. So that's it. This is what the front end duty is about. And coming to the JavaScript, it's like programming language, right? You can write whatever the code you want. You can able to write with the help of JavaScript. But it's a pure JavaScript. Using pure JavaScript, you can able to write whatever the code you want. You can able to write it. But sometimes what happens is, whenever you are dealing with different kind of applications, at that time what happens is you will be having a lot of code to be written. When you use pure JavaScript for some functionality to implement, you need to write some more number of lines of code. If you want the same activity to be finished without writing more number of lines of code, if you want to do that, then what we do is we take the help of framework. In programming languages, there is a concept called framework. First thing, frameworks are not programming languages. They are just used to help the programming languages. Let's say example, Spring. You might heard some word like Spring, which is there in the Java backend. Spring is not a programming language; it's a framework. In simple words, it makes developer life easy. In the scenario, same way, coming to the backend, we can develop the backend programming with the Java language, C++ language, Python language, Node.js technology, or we have Python, we have .NET, we have Ruby. Like that, we have different flavors to develop the backend development. But when we talk about the front end, if you leave HTML and CSS, it's more about designing. If you leave them, coming to the main programming to the front end side, it will be done only with one language called JavaScript. As JavaScript is having that much prominence in the front end side, we do have multiple frameworks available for JavaScript. So in that scenario, we have something like React JS, and we have Angular, we have something like Vue.js, like Embark.js, like that we have so many. But among them, these three are usually people say more. But first two are React and Angular are like both are like parallel, like almost equal. But recent years, React has got edge over Angular due to its extensive features. So in our course, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, we will be learning as part of the front-end development journey. Apart from that, we will be learning about something, React as a framework. So coming to the backend. So backend usually, I told you, right, can be developed with the help of backend means that main business logic can be done with the help of these technologies like this Node, Java, or you can use something like Node.js technology, or you can use something like Python, or you can use .NET, or you can develop it through PHP, or even C++, Ruby. Like that, you have multiple options over there. So in this course, we are sticking to something that Java technology share, and with the help of which we are going to develop the backend programming. First, we will be learning complete Java programming. Then we'll be talking about how to implement Java in the backend of that. Which backend? Web development or website, or not website, what we call web application development process. In that, developing the backend with the help of Java. So to do that, first of all, we should learn the uh, basic or core concepts of Java language here. We'll be learning about it, and once we are done with that, then we'll start developing the server-side programming with the help of Java language here. So in this, I talked about front end, right? In the front end, we are going to learn different technologies. I already mentioned CSS, JavaScript, HTML. Apart from that, I also talk about Bootstrap. I give a overall idea about Bootstrap. React.js extensively will learn. So coming to the back end, we'll be learning Java. So when you're talking about Java, actually total Java, it's not like core advanced, but some people say it like those words like core advanced. So for you to help in this writing, but actually nothing like that. When you're talking about Java, the basic concepts will be there, like programming fundamentals. I say the moment you are done with that programming fundamental, then we'll move to application of those things, like applying those fundamental things whatever you learned, so that will be there. And apart from that, you'll be learning about framework like Spring, but this framework nowadays is implemented with the help of a tool called Spring Boot. Spring Boot is also like Spring only, but it's like a, you can say, next version or next level thing, whatever it is. So with the help of the Spring Boot, we'll be getting that advantage of having a framework in your web development, web application development process. Along with that, we'll be learning about the database. So when we talk about the database, we'll be learning about a database server called MySQL. So we'll be talking about MySQL, and this database server will be installing, and to connect it with that and to work with that and to what I say, like do operations with that, we'll be using a language called SQL. It's like a database language using which we'll be connecting to the database, and we can able to perform the operations on that. So our journey will be like, okay, I talk about that. So next, after that, we'll be clubbing that Java plus SQL. Clubbing means the Java program. First, we learn database separately, like MySQL what, and just, installing that MySQL database server. Next, learning the SQL language, using which connecting to the MySQL database and performing the operations. So that aspect we will be doing separately. And once we are done with that activity, next, using those queries, and we'll be writing those queries inside the Java program, so that we'll be connecting to the database from the Java program. So that is what we'll be doing. So once we're done with all these things, we'll be creating the backend. So for that, these are like prerequisites. If you want to develop the backend development of a web application process, we need to learn these things. And our course will be like a backend development course. First we'll be starting backend development here. Once we are done with the backend development, then we'll be learning about the front end development. Our journey will start from here. So now in the backend development, first I'll be talking about the programming concepts or programming fundamentals of Java. So in that, first I will be talking about completely about Java, like what it is, and how we have to how can we use Java language, and why we need to use Java language, and these activities we do. And then after that we'll be doing the environment setup, like if you wanted to really work with Java language, so what are the environment of prerequisites for your computer or your PC to run Java programs, and all that setup we'll be doing in the initial process. Once we are done with that, we'll be talking about the basic concept like variables, data types. As I told you, these are the programming fundamentals. You must be good with this if you want to learn any programming language, irrespective of the technology. You should be very good with these programming languages here. Data types, and we have something like conditions. Or people say conditional statements. All right, if condition, like that. We have something like loops, looping concepts. We have something like arrays, and we have something like functions. To implement some activities, tasks, we use something like functions. But in Java language, same, it's called as methods. We don't call that word like function. Instead of function, we call it as something like methods. So that's it. And apart from this, this is one thing, one more important, that is operator. So these are the basic programming fundamentals which we'll be learning as part of our Java journey. First, we'll talk about complete, history about Java, what, how, how to use Java, why to use Java only, and the required environment setup and all the installations. Everything we'll be doing in this step, first step. And once you are done with that, next, these things we'll be learning. And once you are done with that, Java is having specific features like object oriented concepts here. Or I say object oriented programming concepts. People generally say oops concepts or oops, but that is called object oriented programming concepts. Will be learning what is object oriented programming concept, and all that I can talk later. Now you may not understand, but I will talk later. But I will give you just simple idea that generally outside in the real world we have entities. What does it mean by entities? Means you have something like student, right? Or you have something like employee, you have something like bank customer, right? You have something like that. Those are called actual physical entities outside. What those entities will have, they will have some properties, and also those entities will have some actions. They'll do some actions means like what customer will do. Customer will have some properties like anything like okay, you take like student will have properties like you will have a phone number, you will have an ID, right? You will have some marks, something like that, and you will perform some actions like you will write exam, and you will attending the class, writing the exam, right? Different things. Those are called what actions. So every real world entity usually will have two things. It will have its own properties, and as well as it will have its own actions will be there. So these two things, what people did, who invented Java, what he did is he incorporated those features like the properties and actions of an entity into the programming, the programming world introduced it. So how it is achieved is for that entity people create a class. Okay, we talk about that extension, but I'm just giving you an idea. For that entity, these people will create a class, and for the properties here people will create variables, and for actions here people will be creating the methods. So doing that by doing creating like this, they implemented the real time, real world entities. They incorporated them into the programming world. So that concept is called like the main what I say, like idea behind this object oriented programming is this one. Okay, so that's it. And in this we do have multiple programming concepts which are related to object oriented programming concept. In that so many things will be there, but everything starts from class and object. I talk about them, all of them extensively. Don't worry, in the upcoming sessions we talk everything programmatically we will be learning. Now once we are done with this, next we'll be talking about uh, in that only everything will be there. All the concepts will be learning, and after that we'll be learning about SQL and as well as MySQL. The database related things we'll be learning. Once we are done with that, next we'll be learning something about JDBC. So this is a Java library or API. In that, what we'll be having is uh, everything related to Java plus database. So how to connect Java with the database, that kind of complete code will be there. So code means that setup will be there, and using that we'll be writing the code and we'll be connecting to the databases. Next is something like REST APIs, but before that creating the server. So how to create the server program through Java. So we'll be creating a server program here, and for that to happen here, we'll be using something called servlet. So don't worry about all these things. I'm just giving you just some names. Uh, Servlet plus JSP. Using this, we can create the server-side program. So that we'll be learning. And once we are done with that, we'll be creating the APIs. APIs means uh, just assume like some links. As of now, at this moment, assume like they are like links which will be containing some operations and some data. Every link, every application will have multiple APIs. What this APIs will do is APIs will send the data to your front end. Whoever is using your REST API, APIs are there, and we will create REST API. Talk about what are the different APIs, and using this front end will connect to your back end, and it will get the data and it will display the data. So that is what we will be learning about this in the Java. And after that, same servlet JSP concepts, we'll be achieving with the help of Spring Boot application. We'll be creating Spring Boot application. In that, we'll be ensuring that these two things are internally created. Means instead of writing so many lines of Java code, what we do over there is we take the help of we leverage that concept of Spring Boot, and with the help of the Spring Boot, we can able to create the servers, and so we can able to create the APIs using Spring Boot here. So after that, once you are done with the APIs creation and Spring Boot knowledge and all, we are almost done with the backend development process, because we have already learned something like SQL and MySQL in the process right here. Here only we already learned about it. Right? So here, so it will be like your second step, and it will be like your third step, and then it will be like your fourth step. It will be like your fifth step, and here it will be like your sixth step, and it will be like your seventh step. So the first step will be, or the first step would be here the main programming fundamentals of which will be learning. So this will be your first step. After that, you'll be learning the object-oriented programming concepts. You'll be learning. So once you are done with that, then we'll be learning about SQL and MySQL. Then JDBC, how to connect to the database from the Java. Next is like creating the servers. Process program will do that. Then normally creating the REST APIs with the help of that servlet we learn, and after that, with the help of Spring Boot, how to do that we'll be doing. And next is even though we are the developers, but our application which we have to understand whether it is properly working or not. So for that purpose, we'll be doing something like API testing, and that we'll be doing with the help of a tool called Postman. So in this, we'll be learning API testing, and so once we are done with this, we'll be creating two real-time live projects. We'll be doing here. Live projects we'll be doing actually, and in that one project will be doing complete backend application. It is like backend application, or I say like backend project. This will be doing without a DB, so without involvement of the database. Means no need of storing anything permanent. There is no permanent storage requirement is there. With that, we'll create one application, and next we create one more a backend application here. That is with the help of means by including the database we do that. It's say like it is with the DB. So we'll be doing these two. And once we are done with this, and then we immediately move to the front end, and there will be learning all front end concepts. In that, we'll be doing four projects, different projects, and end of the day, we create one project with whatever the backend we choose here. With that, for that complete one front end we design, and with that one complete consolidated full stack end to end application will be doing there. So this process, learning Java, and after that learning of the front end would take around 4 months. And in this, uh, the main thing is we'll be learning seven live projects we'll be creating, and apart from that, I'll be talking about multiple tasks in the classroom. So we'll be dealing with the tasks. Once you are started with this programming concepts or program fundamentals, we will come to know. So those things will be there, and apart from that, everything, whatever I talk in the class, the same thing will be, immediately I'll be implementing. That is like practical knowledge. So whatever I talk, it's nothing like theoretical. I'll be explaining you the concept, and immediately I'll be implementing the same. So the seven live projects will be there, and we'll be having more than 60 plus tasks I'll be giving throughout the course. This is about, and complete your course will be about practical course will be there, and it is at par with industry standards. Once you are done with all these things, and I'll be talking about two concepts here, Git and GitHub. So what does it mean and all, I will be talking later, and I'll be ensuring that you guys have created your own GitHub profiles like you have Facebook profiles, right, which are for general purpose, but GitHub profiles are for to showcase your technical knowledge, whatever you have. All the projects you develop are live 7 projects and all you will push into your GitHub account. It will have one ID, like one, what I say, like a GitHub profile, and that profile will be sharing. You'll be putting in your job application. Whenever you are applying for any job, they will be providing your GitHub link, GitHub profile link, or even in your resume also you can place your GitHub link, guys. So that's it. This is about your understanding of you know, that are demonstration about what exactly is Java full stack development is about, and what are the different technologies you'll be learning in this. So as I stated earlier only that it is a process of learning two things: front end development and as well as back end. That's why whoever is working on two areas in the industry are known as full stack developers, both the front end and as well as back end. So in the front end, you'll be learning HTML, CSS, JavaScript, apart from Bootstrap, and also React.js, important thing. Then coming to the back end, you'll be learning Java, Spring Boot, database knowledge, and SQL. These things you'll be learning, and your journey will start from the back end. So first we will be starting from the Java. In Java, we start with programming fundamentals. In that first environment setup we do, and then next we'll be learning about variables, data types, conditions, loops, and all main things. Once we are done with that, object-oriented concepts we'll be introducing, and we'll be working extensively with that. Don't worry about this. I did not mention the names of concepts, but so many concepts like inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, methods, overloading, overriding. So many things are there. All the things will be access modifiers, access specifiers. All the things will be learning over. Next, after that, we will be talking about SQL language. We'll learn SQL language as a developer point of view. We'll learn that, and then we'll be working with MySQL database. Once we are done with that, we'll be learning about a library called JDBC API or JDBC library. In that, we'll be connecting Java with the database. Once we are done with that, we'll be creating the server-side program with the help of Java using Servlet and JSP. Next, REST APIs will be creating, and after this, whatever we did in the fifth and sixth step, we will be doing in the seventh step without manual. Here, mostly we do things manual. Next year, we take the help of manual means your pure Java code you write, and we'll be doing here. But in the Spring Boot, without using we are also Java code, but not pure Java code here, and that too, here we write more number of lines in this process, but here we write less code and more activity. And after that, whatever the API is created, we do perform testing for them as well. The concept is like API testing, and with a tool called Postman tool here to do that. Yeah, there is a problem for the video. Yeah, I hope you are able to see now. Yeah. So we will be doing API testing, and after that, Postman tool will be learning. So that's it. This is the after this you are completely done with the backend, and you'll be doing the projects and all. Once you are done with that, then we'll be moving to the uh, front end. So front end, and in that you'll be doing minimum 4 projects you'll be doing in the front end, and at the ending one complete full stack project you'll be doing here. That is called end to end. End-to-end web application you'll be developing, and uh, in the class on live you'll be running a backend server, and also you'll be running a front-end server. You'll be entering the data from the front-end server, and you'll be collecting it in the backend server, and you will push the data into the database. Everything we can see on live, and these are the things. So we will be developing the live projects. So live projects we'll be developing, and throughout the course I'm talking, and more than 60 tasks you'll be doing, and complete everything is practical oriented. Most important thing is I will be making you people to create GitHub and uh, Git account. So that's it, guys. That's it for the demonstration day. I don't want to talk much about Java today. So in the upcoming session, that is tomorrow, day after tomorrow, we talk extensively about Java language, and we slowly start programming fundamentals in Java language. That's it. That is about today's demonstration session. So I hope you people got one idea what is just a full stack development, and why we need to learn the full stack development, and uh, what is the roadmap for your full stack development journey. So if you're having any doubt, I'm open to your questions, guys. Is there able to hear me? If you have any doubt, you can ask me, or you can even ask your questions in the question in the chat box. If not, if you are clear, what we are going to learn in the course, if you are clear with that, just mention like you are clear. Tambi Babu, yeah, able to hear me? Tambi Babu, you are there? If you are there, just let me know. You are able to hear me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So coming to the other guys, I hope you people have got the idea. What are the main things we are going to learn in uh, Java, especially Java front end? You might be already having the idea, right? So coming to the back end, also what are the different uh, technologies we learn, and especially how your journey of backend development will be there. So how it will start, and so to where it will start, and next what are the different technologies involved in it, Java and other than Java, what will come into the picture, and ending how it will be, backend development journey will be finishing. So I hope you people have got that idea. Uh, yes, right. Vijaya, Rachana, Pralika, Maruti, and Preeti. So just mention like you are clear if you got the idea about Java, what exactly you are going to do with the help of Java and all. Today I did not talk about the technical. I did not get much into that Java. Tomorrow, day after tomorrow, next session we'll be talking about it. But today I want it to only for a demonstration purpose because it's been long time for you as well. Right? So what exactly we are going to learn in the web application development process, what is full stack development, and what is back end development, what is front end development, what the technologies involved in it, and different what I say like other than the programming language, what are the other things we use? Those things also we have discussed, and as well very important thing like how our roadmap for full stack development will be there, how where it will start and how it will progress. Yeah, okay, sir. And tomorrow we'll be having the session at the same time, 9:30. So we'll be talking a little bit about full stack development, and immediately we talk about Java. We'll get into the Java. We talk about the Java things, and we'll get into the environment setup and other activities. We'll be talking in the upcoming sessions. Tambi Babu, still you are there? You're able to hear me? If so, just mention like uh, you're able to hear me. If you have any doubt, you can ask your doubt. Else, you can say like, if you are clear with today's session, just mention like you are clear. If you are able to hear me, just respond. The people we are there. Yeah. Okay, guys. Then that's it for today. So yeah, as I stated already, so I don't want to talk much technical in details. Today's session. So in tomorrow's session, we'll be talking about the Java and all. Okay. Yeah. Bye, guys. Take care. I